We're going to discuss installing the 140B LED mod, and this requires some modification of the chassis as well as the control unit. This is the control unit, and this is an old one. If you buy a new harness from us, the wires will already be in there, and these two leads here, and they might be a slightly different color in your unit, went to the neon lamp down there. And we're going to convert this to LED, and what you're going to have to do is take this apart, and this red wire is also connected to the red wire here. You're going to have to remove this red wire, but don't throw it away. And you're going to keep this wire, you're going to disconnect it from the bulb, and you're going to remove the bulb. And this hole here will have to be drilled out to 5/16 diameter. And then the little supplied holder comes off of the LED itself on the little board we supply to you. It's simply pushed in from the back like a cork. The new holder is placed into your cheek block, and then what you do is you can push the bulb in. Now the bulb is supplied with leads about that long, because if you've got one of the older harnesses, you're just going to splice it onto the wires that are there. There are some changes in the chassis, and we want to point them out to you right now. This is a typical 140B chassis, and you will see this is the terminal strip with the bridge rectifier on it and a couple of other leads. We have at this point in time a resistor here that you should take note of. It is 180 k ohms. That's brown, gray, yellow, and then either gold or silver. But that was the resistor for the neon bulb, and it's going to be removed. What you're going to do is just the first position is where it is at. You're going to unsolder it there, and you're going to unsolder it from its other location. The other location may not exactly be on the fuse holder. In some cases, I've seen it where it was hanging in midair off of the one of the positions on the input connector. And when you trace the wiring for this, you'll see there's a little brown wire going to that first position, and you'll see that it comes up into one of the positions of the connector for the 4-pin, and that's this one right here. And you'll find the other one is the braid. The braid comes through and comes down into a black wire here, which goes into chassis ground. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sit there and put in a jumper. And that's no big deal. We'll just take a piece of resistor bus, which is fine, or a short piece of wire. And what we're going to do is form it to make a jumper. We're then going to sit there and take this jumper and go between this position right here, which is plus 36 volts, and that brown wire, which used to go to the 180 k ohm resistor. Now, this modification is necessary because if you leave the 180 k ohm resistor in there, what's going to happen is you're going to send 120 volts AC into the LED and into the chassis ground, if there is one. And it's going to light pretty much permanently. So again, we're going to add this jumper in there, and that's going to put 36 volts onto that brown wire, or that what used to be a white wire. It's now brown from age in the harness. And the next part of the unit, as you can see, the jumper is in there, and so now that's going to the brown wire, which goes up here, and in the harness itself it winds up in this This was originally white. It's now brownish in color. There's 3 leads coming up here. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sit there and take this and peel it back with a razor blade. And you'll find there is a braid in there. And you remember that other piece of red wire that you took off of the switch here. When this comes up at this point right here, this is where you're going to make the incision, cut off the rubber, and connect into the braid. So spot solder the red wire into the braid here, and then this is going to go toward the plus or red wire of the LED, and this is going to go to the black wire of the LED, because that braid is chassis ground. And that way there you can take an old harness that you already have without buying a new harness. And of course, obviously, you want to put some electrical tape on the connections to make sure they don't short out. And put in the LED in place of the old neon bulb. The neon bulbs are on their way out the door. They're harder to get these days, if you can get one at all. And in many cases, they're not as inexpensive as an LED, and the LED is much longer lasting. So that way there, when you have that put in, you have the LED coming in. The LEDs run off of DC, not AC, and it's coming up through the harness. And remember, if you buy one of our harnesses, our remanufactured harnesses, or one of our new harnesses, it's going to look a little differently. This is what it looks like, and it's a far cry from the original, but you'll see that there's a yellow and a green wire in this spot, and that yellow wire is going to a braid, and that green wire is going to the LED, and so is the white wire. The white wire is positive. And this is the LED module. If you ordered it for an older unit that's going to use the old harness, there's going to be a short piece of red and black wire here. It's going to be a couple of inches long, just long enough for you to make the connection. If you are buying the new harness, then this will all be put together for you, and all you have to do is just pull this off and loosen the nut and the washer, put it through the 5/16" hole in your cheek block, and put the nut and washer on the other side, tighten it up, and simply just push the LED into it like that. And everything will be all straightened out. And like I said, this is the newer harness. It includes an extra wire that's in here, and that's the green wire that was not there before. And there is a shield in here. It's shielded wire, but the shield is going to the yellow wire here. So if you have a new harness, you don't have to worry about a thing. And if you have an old harness, you have to do a little surgery. But either way, it's possible to convert a 140B from a neon bulb to an LED style bulb. And in some cases, you'll find there's a slight hum in the background that disappears when you switch to the LED. And that's because the AC ran up around the mechanism in the front there. It's near the volume control pots. And in some cases, it picked up a little noise from the neon bulb itself. Well, that concludes our little show and tell series here for putting in the LED mod on a 140B.